Oh, threats of hell and hopes of paradise. One thing at least is certain, this life flies. One thing is certain and the rest is lies. The flower that once has blown forever dies. Too much poverty or extreme wealth makes a person rebellious, and he runs like an unbridled horse in the field of cruelty, where his footsteps are heard in hell. Paradise is a precious commodity. Perhaps its price cannot be more than wiping away the tears of a person and putting a smile on his face. Believe me, heaven is easy, but not so much that it is free. Before I became Click-Clack, I once had an absolutely normal life until one woman came and destroyed everything I worked for. Here's my story told from my point of view. It all began on a sunny Friday. I woke up from my deep slumber by a touch from a little hand. I opened my eyes to see my little sister dressed up in her only dress, a potato sack. Yes, we were that poor. But hopefully my new job would provide enough money to pay for Mom and Dad's medical bills and put enough food on the table. I could worry about their education later. Perhaps when I had saved enough. My sister doesn't like speaking. She usually uses gestures to get her point across. She touched her swollen tummy, probably from a disease related to nutrition. I would take care of that when I had money. I sprang up into our kitchen, which was located on the left side of my room. I checked our little cabinet but found what I expected to find: potato shavings. Perhaps if I worked hard enough I could bring home a whole potato. I heated them up in a little pot and set some aside for my sister and my parents. Because of my new job I was full of nerves. It took less than 30 minutes for me to bath. I wore the clothes I borrowed and head to work. Thankfully I woke up early so I could walk to work. I obviously couldn't afford to carry a transport vehicle. A song was stuck in my head: I'm off to see the wizard. The wonderful was, what is that? A Jong neon sign pulled me out of my thoughts. Is this where I would work? I stepped through its doors and was immediately scanned. Bright green arrows directed me to my station, where my instructions lay on my folded uniform. I changed and went to my station and sat there waiting for a customer. The first 2 customers were easy, but the third was the worst. As she stepped through the door I knew she was going to be the worst. She has severe obesity, which meant she was rich. And rich people were horrid the poor. When I couldn't do the hairstyle she wanted, another attendant was called. I had to take care of her obese son, who couldn't be entertained by normal things. I had to do naughty things to keep him entertained. When he suggested I hurt another attendant, I drew the line. So he stared me in the face and broke all 5 of his fingers on his left hand and ran crying to his mother. When she saw what he did to his fingers she went red with rage. Before I could open my mouth to explain, I was knocked out cold. I woke up in a hospital. I couldn't see through my right eye. I reached to my face but I couldn't feel it. I started panicking and my heart rate went up, which alerted the doctors and nurses. It was revealed to me that the rich lady had burned half of my face. She didn't burn it all because she was stopped. I sat there thinking of what to do. With my scarred face no one would hire me. And my family wouldn't survive without money. But I had a solution. I would commit suicide. I had heard on the news that the government gave poor families money for the death of a family member. And I was willing to bet that the obese woman would pay anything to cover up her crime. After all, who could have brought me to this fancy hospital? I struggled to my feet and went to the window. The view was so beautiful from here I rarely got the opportunity to appreciate nature. Too bad. I ripped the curtain from their place and the wall and fashioned a noose. I woke up in a sparkling white place. This must be heaven. I smiled. Finally I would be free. Free of my worries and troubles. I walked a certain distance and came to sparkling golden gates. I pushed them, thinking they would fling open. But they shocked me. A man in a pearly white suit approached me and said, "You can't enter, show me your ticket first." I was confused. Isn't this heaven? He rolled his eyes at me. Yes, now show me your ticket. I shake my head in disbelief. Isn't heaven free? Seeing the confusion in my eyes, he says, Honey, if heaven was free, everyone would get in. Now if you don't have a ticket, move out of the line. You're holding it up. I look behind me and notice several people behind me. People who look wealthy. I reluctantly move. 4 days. I wander around the plane, never feeling cold or hunger, only hot rage. The rage fuels the vengeance in my, and black lines appear across my face and body. There's a flash of black, and I'm transported back to my earth. My only problem is that no one can see me. No one, not even my parents, and not my sister. But I now have powers. I steal little things to make my family and sister comfortable. I swear on my life, I won't let her face that embarrassment. Before my family die, I'll buy them all tickets. On one of the days I'm stealing, I encounter the rich lady. I abandon my plan and follow her around. I see her eating and enjoying all the technology one could never afford. Nighttime comes and she retreats to her bed. I stay there watching her sleep. I feel sorry for myself, wishing I could hurt her. Then I decide to try out my powers. I muffle her with one of her silk gowns. Then I flay her skin and leave her bleeding. But I leave her son, it's not his fault, he was raised by a monster.